Good evening, everyone. Welcome to CW Live, a very special live broadcast today on the Count Me In campaign. Delighted to be joined by our Deputy General Secretary for Telecoms and Financial Services, Andy Kerr. Good evening, Andy.
Evening, Chris.
And also joined by a very special guest, our President of the CW, Karen Rose. Good evening, Karen.
Good evening, Chris.
So tonight, everyone, just while you start warming up and you start sharing the link and tagging your colleagues and helping us get the biggest possible attendance, is a run through on where we are with the Count Me In campaign. Andy and Karen will give an update on where we are with the company, where we are with the campaign. But most critically, what we're here to do tonight is say to you, you've got a job in helping us up the ante on this campaign. So it really is a two-way session where you can say to the union leadership, this is what we feel, but the union leadership can say to you, look, if you want us to really get the things that you need and get the agreement that you need, then we're going to need your help too. So what I would also ask you to do, just so we can put some of those things on screen, because we like to do that, is let us know where you're watching from, let us know how long you've been a CW member, and we'll get you up on screen and give you a shout out. So whilst you all start doing that, I'm going to hand over to Andy, who's going to give you an overview on where we are from the last session. So over to you, Andy.
No, thanks, Chris. And well, first of all, I'd like to thank everyone who's come on tonight. Very much appreciate it. And thanks for all you've been doing over the last, certainly, well, for a number of years, but certainly over the last few months, as we've had this COVID-19 situation. You have got key worker recognition by the government, and that's really important. But, the thing that really annoys me, and I'm sure annoys you, is how you've been thanked by the company. They're repaying you by treating you with contempt, in my opinion. And that is certainly not good. So thanks again for the work you've done. I know you'll be continue to do that work. We've got a number of issues that we've had over the last few months. There's some big ones there, but there's a number of issues in this campaign. Whether it's about in contact centres, whether it's the issue about career progression and the possibilities of being able to move through the company, which has been stopped mainly in consumer, if you like. Whether it's the issues that we face in day in, day out in Openreach and our field engineers and the work that they've been doing over the last few months, only to be told by senior managers in Openreach that, instead of moaning, you should really be doing more work for them and working a lot harder for the company. That's the kind of contempt that's there. And what other things do we get from this company at this point in time? We've got issues around redundancies. And it is a shame, and I have made no bones about it. I am totally embarrassed by the fact that this company has made some people redundant. But we need to stop that. But where did the company go with regards to that? Well, they sit down and talk to me, look at the imagination and try to work our way through it the way we've done for 20, 30 years in the past. Where other people, senior people in the company, have managed to do it. Do we do it that way? No, what the company have decided to do, they want to come back and they actually want to cut the terms of the severance payments for you. So there's no detail in that yet. But I suspect within the next few days, we'll be hearing the detail from BT. So again, that's the kind of contempt they treat you with. Not only do they want you out of the company, they want you out of the company for even less money than what they're prepared to pay at this moment and where we've got binding agreements. And, there's other issues facing this. As I said, we've got issues over grading, and we've been trying to work our way through that. And there is a way through that if the company are willing to talk to us properly. And there is a way through the issue about pay and some of the pay points against some grades. And we can work our way through that. And I know there is a potential way through if the company, again, will sit down and listen to our point of view. But one thing that's really, really annoyed me recently is the amount of work when we're making people redundant in this country. Not only have we got thousands of jobs offshore, mainly in India, but we've actually got this week announcement in technology where they're saying even more jobs are going offshore to India. But the one that annoys me most is Openreach. Openreach, with 2,000 plus people working in India, building the UK fibre network. How can that happen? It's the UK fibre network. It should be planned and built by UK workers. And I make no bones about making that plea to anybody else. I'm beginning to think, BT, does it stand for British Telecom, or does it stand for Bangalore Telecom? I'm not sure any longer. You wouldn't get the Indian government outsourcing work to UK to build a fibre network in India. So why should we? Now, these are all the questions we have been putting to the company, and we need to start to think our way through it. And I've offered the company on numerous occasions now to sit down with us, use a bit of imagination. Let's get through the areas of difficulty we've got at this point in time. I understand the strategy of BT. I understand where it's going. But it's not me. It's not you. It's not the workers that's caused the issue in BT. It's the board and it's the senior management in BT. When they should have invested in fibre many years ago, they didn't. They decided to give dividends to the board members. That's what they said to the shareholders, and pay the board members exorbitant pay. And so there's where the problem lies. It doesn't lie with you or me, but you are going to pay the price for this. Well, I say there's another way forward here. So I want to say, first of all, thanks for all the work you've done for us. Thanks for joining the Count Me In campaign. We want you to go out there and do more, and we'll go into next steps shortly. But we are willing to talk to the company, and I believe there is a possibility of a way through, but it will take a big movement from the company towards us.
Thank you, Andy. That's great. I'm going to ask April, the tech team, to go us back into the full view, because I'm going to ask now Karen to address the meeting. Karen, can you give your initial thoughts, please?
Yeah, thank you, Chris. I mean, I think Andy has outlined what the main issues are with BT at the moment, and the fact that we feel that there are significant opportunities to have alternatives to their current course of action. So we've been trying to push our alternatives with BT, and frankly, they're not listening to us. So I suppose the message that I want to get across to the members tonight is that members have been starting to get behind the campaign. We've seen lots of activities in various different places in the country. We've seen support activities, and we know that in this current climate, with the pandemic raging at the moment, that some of the traditional methods that we have for showing our support and solidarity are not necessarily as efficient as they normally would be, because we're in a situation where we have to observe the restrictions like social distancing and basically the fact that some people are working from home. So it's not the traditional method. So what the message that I want to get across to the members tonight is that now's the time to get far more active, right? Because we need to show BT that the whole of the membership is behind this campaign, and we need to show it with real activity. We need our members to start following on Twitter, on Facebook, on the WhatsApp groups, to join virtual meetings. We need that activity and that solidarity and support to be visible, to see the activity around the country. We need our members to show that they're well behind this campaign. So we're asking them to talk about it to their colleagues when they get the opportunity, although that might not be the same as it normally would be. We're asking them to feed back to their managers that they're not happy about these things that are happening. We want them to make sure that they are sending the message to the company that they are key workers. They have been the ones that have got us through this pandemic so far. They are the ones that are keeping the country moving in terms of technology, and that it is a time when BT should be reviewing their plans, not continuing blindly with the plans they already had before the pandemic hit this country. That things have changed, and they should change, and they should listen to what alternatives that we're able to discuss with them. Alternatives that would actually put into plans a better future, both for the company, but more importantly for our members working in the company, because their current plans would turn out to be devastating for some of our members, depending on where they work and which jobs they're in. And we don't believe that that is necessary. We believe that there are alternatives, and we want our members to stand up and say that they are right behind CWU in that view.
Thank you, Karen. So I've seen, I can see the comments flying in, so many messages of support, so many people letting us know how long they've been a union member. That's fantastic. We'll keep putting more of them on screen now as Andy answers my next question. And Andy, what I'm going to come to is, you've been really firm on this, is that we need to up the ante as time goes on. We've had a really solid start, 8,000 people who have said, count me in, and they really want to do something, which is fantastic. You know, you've got a base there to build on. But of course, you know, we need to up the pressure on BT, if you like. Could you talk for members through what the next steps in the campaign are going to be, and perhaps, you know, crucially, what their role in that is?
Yeah, well, absolutely. And the members' role is absolutely crucial in all of this. You know, so we have got off to a good start. There's much more to do. I think there's some members out there would like us to do much more, but we're trying to make sure everybody is trying to travel at the same speed on this. So again, thanks for everybody who's signed up to count me in. Please I would encourage you to go and speak to your work colleagues, get others to sign up to the Count Me In campaign. It's really important to us. But where do we go in the next couple of weeks and maybe beyond that? Well, first of all, you know, we're having this tonight. We have decided to have a day of action on October the 1st. That is going to be crucial to us. That is where we will see, the company will see that our members are united, they are supportive of the CWU position, and will move forward. And that will show a bit of strength to us. But I want to make it clear to you that this day, National Day of Action, it's not a one-off. We'll do more, much more in the coming weeks on this. We will show this company that we are united as a union, and that they have to listen to us and go forward. And we will become a bit more public, because we have played by the rules for the last period of time. We have played by the rules. We don't believe the company have. So we will be becoming a bit more public. We will be getting a bit more media coverage, and we can do that. And it's already been in the national press. But we'll build that campaign nationally, and we'll build it with politicians, and we'll do it in whatever way we can to make sure we get our members' views put forward to the company. So again, the offer's there. Sit down with us, talk us through the issues, and we can do it. But on the basis that on what's happened so far, they have spoken to us, but they haven't listened. So therefore, we will start our days of action, and the first one's October the 1st.
Thank you, Andy. So in line with that, before I come to you, Karen, lots of people will probably be thinking, let's have a little bit more detail about the day of action. I'm going to come to you for some of that, Karen. But first of all, here's a little video which perhaps brings a little bit of that together. Okay, so I hope that give you a little bit more information about the day of action. Karen, if I'm a CWU member on the 1st of October, what can I do to help the union raise the profile of this campaign?
Right, well, I think there's going to be various activities planned around the country. What we have done is that we know that, like I said, we're working in strange times at the moment. So we know that people are not necessarily in their normal workplaces. They're not necessarily carrying out the business as they have done in the past. So what we've done is we've asked our local branches to consider those local issues they've got, to see how they can engage with people the best in their workplaces that they've got, because we know that there's call centres in some areas, in some branch areas, and there might not be in others, and there's open reach desk space, and there's open reach field engineers, and there's our technology members, and there's our members who work in enterprise. So basic, and of course global, and of course what we've got is we've got a whole load of differentials right throughout the country. So what we've asked for our branches and our regions to come up with events and activities where they can engage best with the members depending on where they're located. So there is going to be some virtual meetings. There's going to be some videos that are taken. We're asking our members to do what we're calling the doorstep challenge, where they take a photograph of themselves with a poster showing their support for the campaign and posting that on social media or sending it to their branches so that we can post that. We're basically asking the members to get active with whatever activity their branches are informing them of, and also anything that is sent out on our social media platforms. So basically there will be various activities depending on what part of the country you're in, and obviously what we also have to bear in mind is that in different parts of the country there are some restrictions that are in place as a result of local lockdowns and things like that. So I think that the activity is going to be varied right throughout the country, but what we're saying is whatever is available to you in your location, please get on board with it. Show your support behind this campaign. Sign up, do what you can, encourage your colleagues to do the same thing, because what we need to see is all of our members getting behind this day of action. And as Andy said, it will be the first of many. We are going to ramp up this action. We are going to show BT that actually we're not going away. We're not accepting the current situation. Our members are not going to accept the current situation. And we're going to show that we're active behind this campaign so that we can try to persuade BT that actually they need to change their way of thinking.
Thank you, Karen. So I think it's time now to do what we came here to do, which is dip into the members' questions. Seen lots and lots and lots. Saw one from Philip Thomas there, if we could try and dig that one out. So basically Philip saying that, recognising that Open Reach and BT are a disgrace, but asking what are our plans to stop this. He's saying like banners outside BT Centre will not cut it. We need to up the ante. And I think that's in line. I'll come to you, Andy, first. That's effectively what you've been saying tonight, it seems to me.
Yeah, I mean, Chris, you're absolutely right. I mean, banners won't stop this, and we're clear. Banners get the attention of people. We went around London a few weeks ago. Great experience. Got some photographs taken, and that's good. And getting people standing up with placards is really good because it shows that there's plenty of people supporting us. But we ain't going to win it just by banners, and that's it. The company can, as I said, if they know they will get the full support of our members, which we believe we really have, and we'll test that out. So we need your support. Show us that support in October the 1st. Then we'll start to look at other things. Do we start to think about consultation ballots with our members? We did it recently with repayments planners in Open Reach. Great result. Over 90% turnout, and over 90% not just saying, yes, they're willing to take a little bit of action, but they're actually quite clearly saying, yes, we are prepared to take industrial action for the issues. And the great thing about these repayment planners is they ain't just thinking about themselves. It's an issue that affects them, but they're thinking about others who are coming behind them. So this is not just an argument about you today, yourself. It's about people who are coming behind you, people who work in other parts of the company. We need to stand united. So we will be up in the pressure. We will do some political stuff too. But I mean, I made it clear from day one in this, we are building up And if the company don't start to realise where we're going, we will push the button and we will have a ballot. And we will have a ballot for industrial action. I have been clear about this since day one. I will do my utmost to avoid getting there if we possibly can, because I believe negotiation is the best way through for everybody concerned. But the threat is there, quite clearly. I make no bones about it. If we have to, we'll push the button. First of all, we need your support. We know we need you to be able to count on you. Everybody, all our members in this. And if we get there, the company still ignore us, we will ballot.
Thank you, Andy. Couldn't be clearer. Karen, I'm going to put the same question to you.
Yes. I mean, to be honest, not to necessarily repeat what Andy said, but I do think that it's quite important because the question that Philip has asked is basically, what are we going to do about it? Because it's not just about banners. And he's absolutely right. It isn't, right? But what those banners are and what the photographs are that people are taking with the posters and things like that is a demonstration of support. And what I think that is the message that we need to get across to our members is that support has to be demonstrated by the membership. Because at the moment, we're in a position where we will have negotiating meetings perhaps with the company, and we are saying that we are representing the members. It is quite clear to us that at the moment, BT are not convinced that we are representative of the members. I think that they don't necessarily believe that all of the members are behind us and behind this campaign. So when we're asking people to go out and stand with the banners and take the photographs with the placards or with the posters, or sign up to the Twitter and to share it and to come onto the Facebook pages and show their support and to join the WhatsApp group and to join the virtual meetings, the reason we're asking people to do that is because that is a visible and physical demonstration of support. And we need to be able to do that in order to demonstrate to BT that actually this isn't just a few people from the CWU who are claiming to represent the members and saying something that they're not actually seeing the physical and visible activity behind. We need to demonstrate to BT that the members are behind this campaign, and all of these visual things demonstrate that the members are behind the campaign. So I think that when Philip makes the point that it's not going to cut it, he's absolutely right. But what they do is they show and they demonstrate that we are moving into a position where we are demonstrating that we've got the members behind this campaign. And as Andy says, where we are moving to is, if the company don't sit up and listen to us, we will be in a position where we will be balloting for industrial action.
Thank you, Karen. And before I go on to the next question, I want to say to the people watching, some fantastic comments. Really do appreciate them. But for anybody who does think the fault of this lies at the union, is to repeat what Andy and I often say during these sessions: is that BT management certainly will be watching this session live, and it's absolutely critical that you recognise where the fault lies, and that in this case is entirely with the company. And it's also crucial that you support what we're trying to do here. So if you do back your union and you do want to send a message to management who are watching tonight, put simply "count me in" the comment box now, so BT can see exactly how you feel and exactly who you stand with. Next question, and I saw something from Angela, if we could possibly get that down the road. And so this follows on from the point. So Angela was making the point that it's BT, Andy, that sold people down the river, and BT who are causing this. And I think maybe, I don't know, sometimes with people who are members of trade unions, it's easy to have a shot at the union. It's easy to have a shot at the local representative. But isn't it important that people remember here that it's BT turning up saying we want to close your workplace? It's BT turning up saying we want to make you redundant. And the only barrier to those things, in our view, is the CWU. Andy?
Well, yeah, absolutely, Chris. Let me just touch on the 2 points you made there. Workplaces are making people redundant. Well, in the workplaces, it's very strange, I think, that BT, a technology company, who's sitting now devising plans for lots of SMEs, small, medium enterprises, and corporates around this country, putting in technology, selling technology to them so people can work anywhere they like. Actually, whether they work in the UK or outside the UK. That's the technology we're selling. We can sell it to every other company, but we can't use it ourselves in BT. Seems very strange to me. So with this issue about moving into 30 locations, I don't have any major issue, and I've always said that to the company, about their ambition. The issue for me is how you get from where you are today to there. And using technology, we should be able to use people working in a more agile way, working from home, working from remote areas, rather than moving to every other company. If you look at the press over the last few weeks, even look at the business press over the last few weeks, everybody's saying we're not moving back to big office workers, thousands of workers in an office. But BT is at the moment. So that's, you know, an issue for us. And on redundancies, I mean, I've made it clear. There is a way. It's a strange thing. The company talk about strategy, but there has to be some strategy about resourcing, and there's a complete lack of it. The CWU have been arguing for it for years, but we're being ignored. And this is the point going back. If there was a planned out plans in place, we would sit down with the company and come up with imaginative ideas of how we can get through it without the need for any compulsory redundancies. And I'm sure we can probably do that. We've done it for 20, 30 years. So there's no reason why we can't do it in the future. Because there is people in the company who want to leave. And there's people who definitely want to stay. And we've got a farce today in technology where the company want a few hundred people to leave. They've put them at risk of redundancy. We have identified another few hundred, more than what they want to put at risk of redundancy. We've identified those people who actually want to leave. Now, surely it doesn't take a genius to work out. There's people who want to leave, and there's people who don't want to leave. And they're all capable of doing virtually the same jobs. Now, that's not rocket science in my opinion. So it is just take the company to move in some of these things, but we can work our way through it.
Thank you, Andy. So, Karen, if I may, I'll set the same sort of point to you. You know, trying to get people pointing their anger in the right direction. And like I said, I can see from the comments, by the way, and I know Andy and Karen, you can't see these because you concentrate on the session, but person after person saying count me in, which is fantastic. So BT aren't going to stop watching this session, everyone. Keep those count me ins coming in, because it's really heartening and it sends a very clear message to the employer. But Karen, for those people who, you know, it's lots of this is understandable, isn't it? People prospect they're losing their job, how they're going to pay their bills, how they're going to keep their house. This is serious stuff. So some people are angry, they lash out, and sometimes the union's on the end of that. But how do we make sure that people point their anger in the right direction?
Well, first of all, I think it's absolutely vital that they do. Because, you see, what I would say is pointing anger at the CWU is not going to solve the problem. And if they're looking for a solution to the situation that they're in, actually getting angry with the CWU is just not going to fix that for them. Because it's not the CWU that's actually doing these things to them that they're finding. And I agree with you. Look, at the end of the day, if somebody's just been told that they're being made redundant, or they're at risk of redundancy, they're at risk of losing their job, and they've got a family and they've got a mortgage, that is an absolutely horrendous thing to happen. And the reason why we have been absolutely firm in our opposition to compulsory redundancy all the way through, actually, and we had taken that stance a long time ago, was because we know how horrendous that is for people. And we also know that there's enough people at the moment in this company that would go voluntarily in order to try to avoid compulsory redundancy. But pointing the anger at the CWU is almost like shooting yourself in the foot, because the union is only as strong as its membership. So we are a collective. We're a collective of the membership, and actually standing together and being united is the way that we can win. So what I would say to people is, think about, I understand the people feeling angry. I understand them lashing out. And actually, we all kind of do that when we're pushed into a situation that we don't like. We do lash out, and you don't necessarily feel as if that's not necessarily a thought through process. But I would quite genuinely ask people to think about what they're doing, because the only thing that stands now between BT carrying on with their programme and doing all those things to our members that will be the result of their current strategy is the CWU. And so the CWU, in order to combat some of those things and to get the company to turn around, needs not only to be strong, but they need the strength of the whole of the membership behind us. So I would say turn that anger onto the perpetrator, because BT is the perpetrator of the things that have happened to them. And I have seen some of the comments on some of the Facebook pages, kind of right throughout this campaign, actually. And I do know that people cite certain things that have happened in the past as to that's the reason is because the CWU rebelled. But what you need to remember is that, and this is why we're calling for everybody to stand behind this campaign now, because we need the strength of the membership and we need that collective in order to drive a way forward that is, on behalf of the CWU members, the best course. And so I would genuinely ask people who feel angry to consider where they're directing that anger, because they need to direct that anger where it's deserved, and they need to get behind this campaign, get behind this union, and that's the way that we will find a way forward that's in the best interest of all of our members.
Thank you, Karen. Andy, I've got a long question here, so I'm going to have to pick up my phone and read it to you. It's so long. And this is from Ken, who is saying, COVID has had a huge impact on everyone and the economy, but Philip Janssen joined in January 2019. Where has he taken the company? ? Simon Louth, Chief Financial Officer, has been near BT 4 years, both overseeing nothing but decline. Just ask the shareholders to take a look and then ask our members about the attacks on our terms and conditions. They are the people responsible, not your union's representatives. Andy.
Well, these are the people at the top of the company, but I would add another few to it because it's called the board. And, it's not for me to back up Philip Janssen in any way at all. Philip's can make his own views known. But, Philip Janssen came in and has adopted and accepted the decisions of the board and the strategies of the board going forward. To make the savings that they decided to do. So, there's a number of people here. I believe, and I said earlier, that the decisions of the board a number of years ago were wrong. I did sit in rooms with the CEO at the time. I've sat in rooms with the CEO of Openreach and of the time, and the CEO of the company, and pointed out to them where they should be investing their money. The board decided to invest in their shareholders rather than in the fibre network. And it was wrong. I've been proved to be right. The company were wrong. And now we're in the situation we're in. But it's easy for these people at the top of the company. And, I don't like to get dirty, but I will if I need to. But it's easy for some of these people, these high-paid people in the company, and there's many of them very highly paid in the company, who are sitting there with a big wage packets. Some, and if I take, even some of the names you mentioned there, who earn 100 times what our call centre workers earn. 100 times. And in fact, in the case of the CEO, nearly 200 times what our people earn in contact centres. So they believe they can get rid of people and those sort of wages. They don't care about the devastation it means to your families and etc. It's all about making sure, it should be about making sure the share price is right, and which brings me on to another great subject, where the share prices went over the last period. And we can look at both individuals you mentioned, and we can see quite clearly that the share price has dropped. It's probably about a third, if not more, less than a third of the price it was when Simon Lau took over as CFO. Obviously done a good job there. He must be doing a good job because his payment last year was £1.3 million. So he obviously is doing a good job, but a good job for who? I don't think he's thinking about the workforce whatsoever. So there is some really big issues out there. As I say, we've been playing the game. We've been playing by the rules. But unfortunately, if things don't change, we'll start to play another game. So we will be becoming more public and we will attack some of these individuals.
Thank you, Andy. Karen, one thing that quite a few people are asking is, we've got loads of people saying that they're having virtual meetings, they're having forums, but there's also people saying that these live sessions, which are set up to be, information shares with a membership, are all they're hearing about the campaign and not seeing and feeling it on the ground from their local branches. What would your message to our local branches who perhaps need a little bit of encouragement tonight be?
Yeah, and I think, look, right, we know that some of our branches have actually had some difficulties recently, not least because they've been locked out of their branch offices because they haven't been able to go in them because of the COVID restrictions, right? So we know that in some places out there, our branch officers have had some difficulty, as in they haven't been able to have the equipment and the kit and the stuff that they would normally use in order to run some of these sessions. And what we've been trying to do is we've been trying to get in the regions, we've been trying to get the branches to support each other, and that is happening now. That is happening, and branches are supporting each other, and they're helping the other branches to use the technology that we've had to use in these circumstances in order to try and get those messages across to the members. So what I would say to branches is I actually think that most of the branches are engaged with this campaign now in the way that basically they built up their engagement with the campaign. I do think that some branches are slightly behind others because they haven't had the technological equipment in order to run the virtual meetings and things like that. I think that's changing. I think it's a case of watch this space, and I'm hoping that what members will see very, very shortly is more virtual meetings, more activity that's done online. In actual fact, it's funny because we've been forced into this situation to use this technology, obviously because of the pandemic and because we weren't able to travel, we weren't able to have the mass gatherings that we normally have, and we normally have our branch meetings, whether they be in hotels or big meeting rooms in various different places. But actually what it has proven is that it does reach out to an awful lot more people. So what we found is where we've been having these virtual meetings, there's been a lot more engagement of members because people can sit in their homes and they can use their laptops or their tablets or their phones, and they can dial in or actually log in to these meetings, and they have been starting to get used to the technology. So I suppose what I would say is, I'm really sorry if you haven't had local interaction with your branches yet. I think that will change, and it will change quite quickly now. I certainly hope it will. The reason why these live sessions are so successful, I think, is because people can log in from anywhere. And I would encourage branches to make sure that you are using this technology, that you are using the virtual platforms to engage with members. Even if they don't have to be like the traditional meetings, they can be short and they can be sharp. So you can have like a half-hour virtual meeting where you just send messages to the members. They don't have to be long, but they can be little and often, and it does mean that it reaches out to far more people, because especially with the shifts that some of our members work, it means that these sessions, if they run on a regular basis on different times of the day, it means that our members who work different shift patterns can actually log into those sessions on a more regular basis for the sessions that suit them. So I would encourage branches that are not using the virtual meetings and the technology to run the virtual meetings to really step that up and to start using it. But also what I would say to members is, look, watch this space and actually get in touch with your branch and tell the branch, this is what you want. Do you want these virtual meetings? Do you want more live updates? And you want the interactive sessions? You know, because actually this union belongs to its members. And we're a democracy. And actually, if you're a member of this union, you can have your say. You can have your say via your branch. So actually get in touch with your branches if you're a member, and branches start using the technology to reach out to your members on these virtual platforms, because we know that the members are engaging that way, and it's proven to be a very successful method of talking to the membership.
Thank you, Karen. One more question for you, Andy, then I'm going to ask you both to give your final thoughts. There's been so many questions about this tonight, we couldn't have skipped it, but there's been so many angles people have taken on the question that I've got to try and get them all across to you in one go. So it's framed around the National Industrial Action ballot. We've got people saying we should have balloted already. We've got people saying let's ballot now. We've got people saying we need to wait because we need to make sure we get a massive yes vote, so we need to do it properly. Where are we on the prospect of a National Industrial Action ballot, Andy? And is it a very real prospect?
Well, let me, Chris, thanks for that. And I can understand people saying, making those comments. I can remember a day when I'd be one of those ones making those comments, if you like. But the situation for us is quite clear. Now, I've made it clear right from day one, as I said earlier tonight, if we need to ballot, we will ballot. So I want that put, and the question is only about timing. I would prefer we get a negotiated way through this. I would prefer that, but I've got to say, as the days go by, I feel that's going to be less and less likely. But you can always hope in that respect. But where are we? See, this is not just a decision that we take lightly. To win the ballot, as we know, and this union's got a great record for ballots, and none of the times that we've balloted, whether it's ourselves in telecoms or our colleagues in the postal side, I've never taken it lightly. And we use it as a last resort. But you're building it. And what's different, I would expect from some people in the past, is there's legislation and there's law, and what the hurdles we need to get over. So we need to ensure we have a turnout, a large turnout, and we need to make sure we win by a large majority that position. That's not to say I'm scared to ballot today, but we need to be sure of our ground. So we build it. And that's what the Count Me In campaign is. That's about those people. I would say to those people who are saying to us, ballot today, Andy, ballot tomorrow, Andy. I would say to you, go and speak to your work colleagues. Go and make sure all of them are the same opinion you. They want a ballot, they'll vote yes on the ballot. Once we get that fed back to us, that's the position we'll take. So we're certainly not scared about going down a ballot situation. The question is a tactical one. When we'll do it when we're ready to do it. And we'll try everything else in the meantime. So we will be building up, as I said, the National Day of Action, and that's a show of strength. Then we'll be doing some other things. And we'll be putting some thought to that. Maybe we won't be doing them all at the same time. Maybe we'll do it over a period. These are the things that we'll put some thought to, and we'll get out to you. But the main thing is for me now is to make sure we're not scared of balloting. Of that, I can assure you. The issue is when we would like to get, as I said, get away without doing it, but we have to do it, and that day is coming closer. That day is coming closer, and BT have to be aware of this. And I have told BT, so it doesn't come as any shock to them either, because I've sat and spoken to them, and I've told them that the alternative, unless they speak to us, unless they come to a deal, the alternative is we will ballot for industrial action. So it's been made very, very clear to the company. And I want to make that clear to everybody on this call. We have told them, I have told them that will happen. And if we need to go down that road, we will. We will have those discussions, both with my executive, we'll have it with the branches, and that's why the virtual meetings or the meetings are important, So you feed back in to your branches. The branches feed back into their executive members, and then we have a decision to take. But I can assure you, if we need to do it, we will do it.
Thank you, Andy. So, and David Gainsford says, build, build, build. You have to build the campaign, and you have my full support. So thank you, David. So we're going to offer you now the chance for some final thoughts from Karen and Andy. Before we do that, let's have one more roll call so we end the session on a real high. If you support this union, then count me in the comments now so we can put as many of you up on screen. Come on, we want dozens, if not hundreds of you up on the screen now supporting your union. So if you back us, count me in the comments. And whilst you do that, I'm going to hand over to our two guests to close off the session, starting with President of the CWU, Karen Rose.
Thank you, Chris. I mean, look. I think that I think it's been a good session. I've seen some of the comments that have come up. I've seen lots of the count me in. I've seen a lot of people that are standing behind the union. I also know there's some negative comments out there. And what I would say to those people is, look, I'm telling you, think again. If you think any of that negativity, right, is going to achieve anything that you want, you've got to think of it. So get behind this campaign, because this campaign is the only show in town. This is the only thing that's going to make any difference to some of the things that you're complaining about. So let's kick out any negativity. Let's get on a positive note. Let's get behind the campaign. Every single member, we need you signed up right behind this campaign. We need you to show your support for any of the local activities. Sign up to the social media, get onto the virtual meetings, send us your feedback. Very important point that Andy just made. Send us your feedback. Put your feedback through your branches. Make sure that your branches are sharing your view. But more importantly, all of you that are on here tonight, make sure you speak to your colleagues, your fellow members, and actually make sure that all of them are engaged in this campaign, that everybody knows that a show of strength will make a difference to what we can achieve. And just, get behind your union. It belongs to you. It is a collective organisation. It's you. You are the union. Get behind this campaign. Let's show BT that we are a force to be reckoned with. And like I said, somebody said, one of the members said, build, build, build. We do want to build this campaign. We want to build it up, right? Because we want to be able to get the best possible outcome for all of the members. And we know it means different things to different people, but we want the best of everything for all of our members. And that will take a show of strength behind this campaign. So be positive, be strong, and get behind the CWU.
Okay, thank you, Karen. What a fantastic closing message. And over to the last word, if you'd like, to you as members, for our Deputy General Secretary, Andy Kerr. Andy.
Well, I'll start where Karen left off. The great trade union tradition, unity is strength. It was right when it was written over 100 years ago, and it's absolutely right today. Unity is strength. And I think one of the issues in this campaign is people don't see, or some people don't see, how it's affecting you as an individual. Well, I can assure you, what we're trying to do and trying to stop will have an effect in every single member that we have. So some of the issues about redundancy, some of the issues about career progression, issues about grading, issues about pay, all those issues about severance terms, all those issues, reskilling, retraining, all those issues, they may not happen, affect you today, but every chance they will affect you tomorrow. There's no doubt about it in my mind. And it's also not about self. As I said to you earlier on about the repayments planners, they see it as an issue for them, but they see it as a wider issue for lots of other people in the company. So this is not about self. This is about everyone else. Work colleagues who work alongside you, colleagues who work in another division but work for the company. It doesn't matter whether you work for EE, if you work for Openreach, whether you work for global enterprise, technology, group functions, or any other part of the BT, this is an effect. And it's also about the relationship with the union. See, this company are starting to think, as Karen said earlier, does the CW actually represent the members? Do they actually speak for the members? Or does the colleague board speak for the members? The colleague board that they set up, they selected, not elected, selected, and not decrying anybody. I'm not going to decry anybody on the colleague board, but they certainly are not representatives of the workforce in any way, shape, or form. But they seem to get the ear of the CEO and the ear of others much more than the trade unions do. We have worked well with this company for many, many years. We've worked in partnership. The new partnership seems to be, yes, we'll still work in partnership. We'll work in partnership with you, Andy, as long as you agree with us. Well, no, we're not going to do that. We would work in partnership with you, but it's a two-way thing. And it always is. That's what partnership means. So we do want the company to listen. We do want you also to get behind this and build this campaign. So I would plead to you at the end here, please get involved. Encourage your fellow workers to get involved in this campaign. Please take part in the day of action in October the 1st. We can get our way through this, but we'll only do it if we show our strength. And our strength is if we are united. So whether you want us to go a bit faster or not, whether you're a bit wary about joining us, it's a matter of getting together, building it. We will build our strength from the collective. That's what trade unions have always done. We've always built for the collective. And this issue, if we fail in this, if the company get away with what it looks like they're doing, this will have an effect on every single one of you for years and years to come. So please get behind this campaign, get behind your union, and let's fight them together.
Thank you, Andy. So all it leaves me to do is some pleasantries. Please keep sharing the link. It'll be up on the pages now for you to watch in a recorded fashion. We've had over 8,500 views across all of our platforms. We really appreciate you tuning in. Thank you to Andy for his time. Thank you to Karen for her time. Most importantly, though, thank you to all of you for your time. I'll leave you on a message from Julia Upton, actually, who's one of our NEC members. And Julia says this affects us all. This is a fight of our working lives and our future. None of us can afford not to be counted in. I think we'd all agree with that. Good night, everyone, from us.
Thanks.